The biggest crypto upgrade of 2023 for Ethereum just happened. Shanghai is complete. And while in yesterday's video, we discussed how Shanghai affects you as a crypto holder, great beginner's guide linked down below. Today, let's continue that conversation and go further. According to the latest data from Glassnode, less than 1% of staked ETH is estimated to sell after Shanghai. The analytics firm backed up their prediction, stating that only 253 validators have signed up to fully exit their staked Ethereum position. So we know that Shanghai has finally enabled ETH stakers to be able to withdraw their Ethereum. And now with that extra supply unlocked, people are fearing sell pressure. Well, Glassnode says no. They say just 170,000 Ethereum out of the total over 18 million ETH staked on the Beacon chain will be unlocked within the first week of the Shanghai hard fork. So less than a fraction of 1%. After all, this is a rolling unlock. And out of this Ethereum that will be unstaked, the figure comprises of 100,000 of that ETH comes from staking rewards, while just 70,000 of that ETH comes from the actual original Ethereum that was staked. Glassnode backed up its prediction by explaining that only 253 depositors are actually waiting to exit their stake, and that a few mechanisms are in place to prevent a flood of Ether supply from hitting the market all at once. Again, discussed heavily in yesterday's video. So that was Glassnode's prediction. Well, what's actually happening? Roughly half an hour after the Shanghai upgrade was activated, some 285 withdrawals had been processed for about 5,413 Ethereum, worth around $10 million. So minimal withdrawals thus far, and that does explain why Ethereum is trading flat. But today, during a watch party hosted by somebody called Ethereum Cat Herders, Vitalik was actually on stream when this happened, and Vitalik Buterin commented, "We're in a stage where the hardest and fastest parts of the Ethereum protocol's transition are basically over. Very significant things still need to be done, but those very significant things can be safely done at a slower pace." Here is a photo of Vitalik watching the upgrade live. Buterin went on to say that scaling, i.e. making transactions faster and cheaper, will be the next issue that the blockchain tackles after Shanghai. And in a direct quote, he said, "If we don't fix scaling before the next bull run, we know people are going to be stuck paying $500 transactions. If, on the other hand, we don't have Verkle trees before the next bull run, well, things might suck, but it's a much smaller problem than, $500 transactions, right?" And what are these Verkle trees he's speaking of? Well, looking at what's next after Ethereum Shanghai Upgrade, now comes the Verge, then the Purge, and the Scourge. And after EIP 4844 comes what's known as the Verge, where Verkle trees will be introduced, another move to increase scalability. Verkle trees allow developers to store large amounts of data, and users only need to show a single piece or short proof of that data to verify they have a root of that tree. Verkle trees will make data proofs much more efficient, i.e. scalability. But please understand that macro effects like inflation data, which we just received, potentially have an even bigger impact on Ethereum, on Bitcoin, on crypto. Inflation shows signs of cooling as the Fed weighs their next move. So, not by much, but inflation is lower compared to the last month. Headline CPI came in at 5%, while core CPI came at 5.6%. Pretty much what was expected. But now, with the next FOMC meeting in less than 20 days, what should we expect from the Fed? Well, like I said, we're at 5%, down from 6% from back in February, showing the slowest pace since May 2021, meaning that we're back to the levels not seen since 2021. So while 2 years ago, these were outrageous numbers, today, same number as 2 years ago, but looking better. But if Jerome Powell's goal is still to get inflation around 2% by end of year, what is the market predicting will happen in 20 short days at the next FOMC meeting? The market is predicting a 31.8% chance that the Fed just holds, they pause at the same rate. Yet over 68% of the market does think that they will raise another 25 basis points. Now with the Ethereum unlock, Ethereum staking tokens did take a big beating ahead of this upgrade, including Lido's LDO governance tokens fell as much as 10%, while Rocket Pool's RPL token dropped 8%. And the reason why they slumped, because Wednesday morning's drop caused over 96% in longs or bets on the rising price to be liquidated in the early Asian hours. So traders in the Asian market caused the sell-off, while at the same time, FTX's dead exchange token, FTT, seems to be back, exploding over 100%, and people are asking why. As of today, failed crypto exchange FTX has recovered over $5 billion, and attorneys say they could reopen starting in Q2. Crypto exchange FTX has recovered more than $5 billion more in liquid assets, but the extent of customer losses in the collapse of the company is still unknown. So how much of that money will go back to users of the platform? The courts have not made a statement on that yet. But the company, which was valued a year ago before the collapse at around $32 billion on paper, they've at least found a little more. We have located over $5 billion of cash, liquid cryptocurrency, and liquid investment securities, said one of the FTX lawyers to the bankruptcy judge. And with some of that value in actual cryptocurrency coins, the lawyer did say the company plans to sell non-strategic investments that had a book value of around $4.6 billion. So they will be cashing out around $4.6 billion to have more cash. 92-year-old Warren Buffett made a public statement again on Bitcoin today. He's going to start by speaking about gambling.
It's people love the idea of getting rich quick. I don't blame them, but I've always wanted to get rich slow, and I have a lot of fun along the way. But I'm not immune from it. I've bet on football games. I made one wager at the sports book in Nevada, and I was out there with a couple of friends, and I went up and bet on Nebraska against it. And about 10 people got up behind me and said, "I'll have what he's having." You know, it's going to make Ryan in the movie. And so they had a very unbalanced book when they got through that day, and I got 500. My 550, and I made a profit of 500. And I had somebody else cash the tickets. So it's so human, and once unleashed, you can't put it back in the bottle. And something like Bitcoin, it is something. It's a gambling token, and it doesn't have any intrinsic value. And Larry Summers was on a week ago and said it doesn't have any value. I mean, it doesn't have any value, but that doesn't stop people from wanting to play a roulette wheel and think that if there's 37, at 1 0 and or 00, and it doesn't make any difference. Yeah, it makes a difference, and it's just a question how fast it eats up your money if you spend the rest of your life spinning around a roulette wheel. But
hit subscribe to stay updated, and like always, see you tomorrow.